Hi, my name is Scott. I'm a practicing physician assistant. I work in endocrinology. I'm also a type 1 diabetic. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. I'm going to be coming out with new videos all the time, tips, tricks, product reviews, and things like that for fellow diabetics or people just learning more about the disease. So today we're going to be talking about alternatives to glucose tablets. So why do we need an alternative to a glucose tablet? Well, one, have you ever tried a glucose tablet? They're not exactly the best tasting thing. And two, they're not that cheap either. If you look on Amazon, sometimes a bottle of 50 is just under $10. So there's alternatives out there that work just as well, taste way better, and in some cases are less expensive. So first let's go over glucose tablets and what makes them so special. Why is it that they work so well? Well, the main thing is that they contain something called dextrose. Dextrose is the key ingredient in glucose tablets that make them work so well. And what is it that's so unique about dextrose? So when we look at this scale, we can see glucose, which is molecularly identical to dextrose. They're both monosaccharides. It's as high as you can get on the glycemic index scale. It makes the blood sugar spike like nothing else out there, even faster than sugar, honey, other types of sweeteners that you may find in candy bars or ice cream. And it's the reason why glucose tablets, the main ingredient is dextrose, because this is our best available food product to spike the blood sugar the fastest. And the reason why it works so well is because it's a simple sugar. It's a one-chain molecule, meaning the body doesn't have to take time to break it down like it does in complex carbohydrates. Even sugar, as we look at here, is a disaccharide. It's fructose and glucose combined together. So the body takes additional time to break this down. So when you want your blood sugar to rise quickly, you're feeling like this, you want the absolute fastest working ingredient, and that's why you stick to dextrose, main ingredient in glucose tablets. So dextrose isn't unique to glucose tablets. There's actually some other candies and other products out there that contain dextrose as the main ingredient. And that's what I'm going to go over today, some alternatives that contain dextrose as the main ingredient. Now obviously there's tons of alternatives to glucose tablets. You can use candy bars, ice cream, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to go over those because those don't work as fast as glucose tablets. I'm going to go over products that have dextrose as the main ingredient that are going to work as fast as glucose tablets to spike your blood sugar. A few of these are actually going to be pretty surprising because they're things that you've probably had before and they're pretty cheap. They're probably things you've had when you were younger and when trick-or-treating you found in your candy bag. There's plenty of candies that have dextrose in them. So the first product that I want to talk about is something that's pretty surprising, and it's Smarties. So Smarties, I'm sure when you're trick-or-treating you had these in your candy bag. Smarties actually contain dextrose as the first ingredient. Each little roll or little pack of Smarties is actually 6 grams of carbs. And just a little FYI, when you have a low blood sugar, the number that you're shooting for typically is around 15 grams of carbohydrates, plus or minus a few. That's generally what you're shooting for to initially treat your low blood sugar. You take 15 grams of carbohydrates, and then you wait about 15 minutes and then do another finger stick, see where you're at, and then if you're still not up to where you need to be, you take another 15 grams of carbohydrates. So that's generally what I'm going to be shooting for when I talk about these different products. Again, Smarties is 6 grams of carbs per pack, so you grab a few of those and you're right around that magic number of 15 grams of carbs. And what's great about Smarties is they taste way better than glucose tablets. They're cheaper. You can get a whole bag on Amazon for under $5. So Smarties is the first product that I wanted to mention because I feel like it's cheap, it tastes great, and they're nice little easy convenient packages that you can bring with you on the road or or out and about or even leave in your car because they're shelf stable. So that's number one, Smarties. The second one that I wanted to talk about today, and probably my favorite because I feel like it tastes the best out of all of these, is Nerds. So number one ingredient in Nerds is dextrose. Again, dextrose is the product we're looking for here, and Nerds has it as the number one ingredient. So I'm sure we all had Nerds as kids. They taste really good. And the great thing about Nerds is that a tablespoon of Nerds is actually 14 grams of carbs. So close to that magic number there, 15. So you compare a tablespoon of Nerds to 4 glucose tablets, which is right around the same amount of carbohydrates. And which one would you rather have? I mean, I think that's a pretty easy answer, at least to me it is. So it's super simple to take 1 tablespoon of Nerds rather than sitting and having to chew 4 glucose tablets. So that's my second option here. And the great thing about Nerds is you can get those little tiny packs, nice and convenient. It's another thing that's easy to take with you. So that's the second one I'm going to talk about, Nerds. Again, 14 grams of carbohydrates in 1 tablespoon, nice and easy. All right, so the next product is a little detour from the Halloween candy that we've been talking about, and it's a product that's made specifically for diabetics, similar to glucose tablets, but a different form, and it's called Elevate Glucose Slim Packs. So this is a pack of basically powder form of dextrose. It is dextrose in this case as the first ingredient, and they're portioned exactly into 15 grams of carbohydrates, and it's a powder. It's really similar to basically what you would have as pixie sticks, and again, pixie sticks is another one that's straight dextrose. So this is basically a crushed bag of dextrose. And what's great about it is it's portioned out exactly like I said into 15 grams of carbs, and you can eat it much faster. Again, to me, the whole thing with glucose tabs is chewing, the chalkiness. It's just not a pleasant experience. So this comes in a powdered pack. They're fairly cheap on Amazon. Pack of 6 is just under $9, so not as cheap as some of the other stuff we've been going over, but not, you know, terribly expensive either. And it's really nice and quick. It's an easy way to get your blood sugar up quickly without having to sit and chew. You just pour the powder down and you go about your way. And it's nice and easy because it's in that 15 grams of carbs portioned out into that pack. All right, so all of the other products we've been talking about so far have basically been powder form or just different dextrose kind of into candy form or things like that. So let's talk about one that's actually comes in the form of gel. This one is known as Transcend Glucose Gel. It's similar to Elevate, but instead of powder, these are gel. Now you look at the ingredients here, and instead of dextrose, we see something called D-glucose. Well, don't let that trick you. D-glucose is actually the same thing as dextrose. So you're getting the same really quick spike of blood sugar that you get with dextrose. D-glucose is the same thing. So no problem there. It's portioned out into 15 grams of carbs per gel pack, which is really nice. Again, nice and simple. And these are a little bit pricier though. That's the only thing that I wanted to say with these. So on Amazon, these sell for 15 pack, just under $27. So not the cheapest of all the things we've gone over today, but if you want simplicity, it's portioned out into 15 grams of carbs, and you want an alternative to all of the kind of powdery packs and all those types of things, this is a gel pack alternative, so it's another easy way to get those 15 grams of dextrose into you real quickly. I wanted to go over one last product, and this one is another one that's one of my favorites just because I feel like it tastes really good too, just like the nerds I went over. So far we've had our powders, our gels, our crunchy stuff. This is the first one that's actually a chewy variety. So if you like chewy candies and chewy foods, this would be the one that you would want to go for. So again, if we look at the ingredients, dextrose is our first ingredient, which is great. We're following along on our trend here, all dextrose products to make sure our blood sugar spikes super quick. And around 40 pieces is going to be 26 grams of carbs. So around 20 is going to put you right around 13 grams of carbs, which is right around that magic number there. So this is another product, not super expensive, and it's another quick way to raise your blood sugar without having to chew the chalky dextrose glucose tabs, and then something that really tastes great, these sweet tarts, the chewy sweet tarts. So it's another one. And then just an FYI, all of the regular sweet tarts as well are the same ingredient, dextrose. So those will work just as well depending on which your preference is, the chewy or the chalky ones. Either way, sweet tarts, dextrose first ingredient, another way to spike your blood sugar really quickly. So those are 5 of my top favorite candies and foods in different ways to raise your blood sugar up quickly using dextrose without having to go through the misery, I guess, for lack of better terms, of going through your glucose tablets. So I'd like to hear what products you guys use. If there's anything that maybe I missed here that you use that works really well, I'd love to hear it. And I just wanted to mention, so again, you can raise your blood sugar with anything that has carbs or sugar. It doesn't really matter. But the one thing to keep in mind is anytime you're eating a food that has a lot of fat in it, so say ice cream, a candy bar, you add fat to the carbs, it delays digestion of those carbohydrates. So be careful when you have things like that. When you're feeling crummy, your blood sugar is low, you don't want to have to wait a half an hour for your blood sugar to come out. So avoid those foods like ice cream, candy bars, anything that's adding extra fat to the carbohydrate is something you want to avoid. Fat delays digestion of those carbs, so it's going to take longer. So again, if you can stick to one of these dextrose products, these are by far the best thing you can use. They're going to raise your blood sugar the fastest. But if you're not able to get one of these products and you're out and about, the next best thing would be liquid sugar. So if that's regular soda, that's orange juice, apple juice, all of those products work really well. Again, dextrose is going to be your main thing to go for, but then second line, if you don't have any of these products available, go for one of your liquid sugars, again, like soda or apple juice, orange juice, etc. So again, those are my 5 top picks. Let me know what you're using at home or if you have anything else that you'd recommend. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And thank you for watching.